Bonjour, hello everyone. I'm Nata, host of the Nata PR School podcast. You're a successful entrepreneur or marketing manager and you're about to launch a new product or service, or you've been selling your goods for quite some time, but you want to learn how to increase your visibility, get known, and reach more clients? At Nata PR, we deal with real clients every day and we'll teach you simple, fun, and honest PR solutions. You'll learn easy steps to combine PR to social media right now. Keep listening and let's get started. Bonjour, hello, and welcome to this 26th episode of the Nata PR School podcast. What are trends? Hello, my friends. I want to talk about trends today. So what is a trend? Well, if we decide to talk about it in a very simple way, a trend is a human action that's on the rise. When you have more and more people interested in something, or if you prefer, it can be linked to demand. It could be an action, an activity that few people at the beginning are practicing, but that becomes more and more popular with an increasing number of people over time. So, but when does it become a trend? That's really something almost magic. At one point, like you have these early adopters that we call. Sometimes they try, let's say, a new sport. They buy a new product. And then at one point, it becomes a trend. If we think about social media, I'm sure you've heard about TikTok. So TikTok, 3 years ago, few of us really knew what it was and that it existed, and it was a new social media platform. Now we see overnight success. I was watching a French news last night, and there was a famous, I don't know if we call them TikToker, like Instagrammers. So a famous young man who became, it looks like they become super famous, these people, overnight. But, this is when a trend is there, is when you hear about it more and more. And the trend may very well be a desire that becomes increasingly popular. If you think about people want to live outside of big cities now during the pandemic, because of COVID, and people were home, they decided, well, I can work from home now, so I could work from anywhere. I don't need to be close to the city or live in the city. So this is a trend when there's this new desire happening that wasn't there before. So this is a new trend. A trend can also be, in a marketing world, a demand for a newer or even an old product. Remember when Converse did a comeback, or the leggings were back in fashion? It's really when you have this increased number of people looking for something similar over time, like the return of the 60s, and the return of the music became more popular. Or if you think about the elephant jeans, these, or the bell-bottoms jeans, when all these trends were coming back, fashion trends, obviously. And if you think about religion or new associations, trends emerge because many people all of a sudden share the same beliefs. More and more Westerners, for example, are interested in Buddhism and happiness. We haven't seen lately the Dalai Lama a lot, but for the past few years, if you remember, the Dalai Lama was in the news a lot, talking about, the art of happiness. And so this was a big trend. It's still a big trend, but it's not a new one, but it's still a trend. If you think about also, there's a great book called The Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell, who's a Canadian. This book gives tons of explanation about how a trend becomes a trend, actually. So this is when, you have few people doing something, practicing something. If you think about, the QAnon, even last year, it was something we haven't really heard of, but now it's something more in the news. So it's becoming kind of a trend. In finance also, we often hear about market trends, right? Trends are all over and very close to us in our lives. Sometimes we don't pay attention to it, but I'm inviting you this week to pay attention to the trends around you. And for us at the agency, trends are extremely useful. We love them because we include them in our tactics. And it's great when you want to present a product, maybe not so new, but if it fits in a trend, it really helps promoting it and getting it exposed. It's important also to understand that influencers and journalists are looking for those trends. For some journalists, it's part of their mandate to inform readers, viewers, listeners about new trends, because this is part of what they do. They inform people. So it's sometimes easier to understand that these media are there to inform people. So trends are super important for them. They are also important for influencers who want to inform their fans and be relevant to their fans. They want to create concept that will be appealing to them. And following the trends is a great way to keep your fans happy, informed, and they will know why such a product is relevant in their life now. At the beginning of each year, every profession really goes out with their predicted trends. It's easy to, when you think about colors, you also have Pantene who announce a color. They decide on a color, but the color is also a trend. They don't pick just a color like this. There are reasons why they pick a certain color, but then it becomes a huge trend. If Pantone says it's yellow and gray this year, then you'll see that these two colors appear in many of the products surrounding you. And so all these professions, it can also be in the food industry, in the design industry. If you go to IKEA store, it's really fun to see those trends included in all their new products they're proposing to their consumers. Food is also huge in trends. So you always have these new ingredients that all of a sudden everybody is interested by a new ingredient. They want it. Oatmeal, for example, is becoming big and a search after ingredient. It's included more and more in many new products. So if you pay attention and you look at the new products around you, you'll be able to identify those trends. So let me give you an example of how we integrate trends. My partner shared with me a trend that I really love, that I think will become something even more deeper, something we need in our life, and the timing for that is amazing. There's a great magazine called Monocle in English, Monocle, for those who are interested by this reference. It's really a fashion-forward, trend-forward magazine, so they try to announce those trends before anyone in the world. And one of the trends they picked this year is gentleness. I find it extremely interesting. This is a trend that brands and companies will be including in their marketing plan this year. And how will they do that? So this is where we come in sometimes, because we choose to include this trend in many of our proposals and let our clients know about it. So we inform. This is one of our role to inform clients of those new trends. And so we let clients know about gentleness. There are some other trends that I really like this year too, about having a routine in your life. These new trends are really emerging from going through COVID, obviously, and fighting the pandemic, isolation. And we see gentleness probably is appearing now in response to this negativity that we see on social media. Well, there was always people spreading their negative thoughts in all those social media platforms. But I don't know what happened this year, but we saw a lot of this negativity expressed all over. So probably gentleness is a response to that, which I find amazing. Sometimes humans are really surprising. And we feel certain that with everything we're living through, the gentleness will become more than a trend. And it's a bit like the buy local trend that I love so much. That's becoming something deeper. It's a long-term trend, and people adapt it. So it becomes a concern, which is something amazing. So I called my partner loves to make fun of me, because I love to say that buying local is the most international trend, because in all countries, I watch news from different countries, and buying local is really everywhere, in every country. So trends, some people are adopting these trends early, those early adopters, and then it can become one of their value. And even sometimes it's part of their mission. So we'll see what will happen with gentleness. What does it mean, right? And how do we include it? Let me give you some examples. So gentleness means taking the time to take care of yourself, of your skin, of your hair, of what you eat. So for a natural hair care brand, gentleness can be a great way to present a new product that they're launching. Be gentle with yourself. Use our product. They're natural. They will be gentle with your hair. Isn't that a great way to integrate a brand? So what are you doing to be gentler with yourself in this year and in the coming months and those around you? So gentleness is a beautiful trend. And we'll see what will happen in the coming months. I'm sure we will hear more and more about, being gentle with each other. It's a trend to watch, so maybe we'll talk about it next year and see what are the new trends coming up. So look online and in the news and see if there are any trends you can use to promote one of your product or your service. And if you haven't done it yet, so please go and download our free Nata PR model. The link is below this podcast. And you will be automatically added to our list and be informed of everything that's happening, our free webinars, our next trainings. And if you have any questions, please reach out. I'll be happy to talk about any subjects regarding social media and PR and how you can use it to increase your visibility and get known. I hope you will join us next week. À la semaine prochaine. Hey, you want to learn more about how to implement PR strategies? Head on to natapr.com and get on our list. You will also receive the Nata PR model on how to create a successful PR campaign. If you want to become a client, just send us an email to nata@natapr.com. Talk to you next week. À la semaine prochaine.